you've been here for the entire journey from back in the UFC at UFC 12, where there wasn't even weight divisions. I mean, you're fighting guys like in this, and now there's, divisions. Back then it was just, I remember it's amazing that we're having this conversation because, I was born in 1978. You were born in 1977. So we're about the same age. And I remember being in high school. And I graduated high school in 1997. Now, in 1997, you're 19 years old. You're in Hawaii fighting in Super Brawl against a guy named John Hess. And John Hess is 7 inches taller than you, and he has a 100-pound weight advantage, Vitor. You're 19 years old. You're stepping in the ring with this behemoth who's that much bigger than you.
I was 18 back then.
So you're 18 years old. You're a senior in high school, stepping in the ring with a guy who's 100 pounds bigger than you and 7 inches bigger than you. What was going through your mindset at that time?
I was so scared. So my mental coach was definitely Carson. And I think that the mental coach with him I was very secure with him because the way he never went to school. He never was prepared like you. So let's put it that way, that Carson was like kind of like that guy. When I brought him, like, Carson, I'm nervous. He said, it's okay to be nervous. And he used to go back to, he used his metaphor. Hey, man, you know what really helped me when I was in the locker room? I got like a Kid Cross, these words, making words. He always creating something that he can put his mind away. He said, the way I do it is I just kind of chill, just trying to think that's your job. But it's hard your job. This is not a job. This is really gonna go into battle with another man. But he said, just trying to relax and trying to create something that makes your mind go somewhere else, And then by the time you just focus on that time, so and just trying to relax. You're thinking you're in the gym, you're doing your thing, and trying to enjoy. He's trying to enjoy. And then when you start bringing more, Carson, but I still. And he said, hey, man, stop with this. Come on, let's go. Just warm up. So he passed a lot of confidence. You ready? You don't doubt yourself. He was very onto that kind of old school mind coach stuff.
Yeah.
And he was very secure of preparation. So for him, like, he saw you and trained. He knew if you were prepared, it was impossible for someone to say, Victor, you ready? If you prepare, no one will beat you. I promise you. So he passed that confidence. He transferred that confidence. But I was internally, fighting we're still fighting our demons. Doesn't matter how. And now that doesn't matter how much experience you have. You're always gonna have to face this ghost that goes in your mind. What if? Oh, if this has happened. So we create so much variables, and now we realize that. Understanding this mind thing, that being in the moment, taking a breath, one breath at a time. So it's a lot of techniques we can use, and we can prepare that everything's in. It's a totally different world we're living. But back then, I was like no rules. You can basically, people don't know that, but John Hess and we didn't have any contract signing, so everything was to the words. So he asked the judge. So Shaq was there. The whole Lakers team was there. So he said, hey, if this would be no rules, the only thing he agreed for not using against me was poking in the eye. He blinded one guy in the UFC. People don't talk about it, but he poked one guy in the eye in the UFC. The guy lost the vision in one of the eyes. So the only thing he agreed John has to do is say, if the only thing I'm not going to do is poke in the eye, but I'll be able to fish hook, punch him in the nuts. He wants no rule. That's what his style of fighting. He called himself like a street fighter. So if people don't know what fish hook is, like when you put your fingers in your nose and you can scratch the nose, you can pull the ear. So that's kind of like a kind of survival type of thing. And I remember I was there, and the only thing I care about having a boy. I said, Carson, I put my hands in my private part. I said, man, he was gonna punch in my nuts. What's up with this guy? This is a sport. And I had my gloves. I was so into the sport, and the guy was so like savage. He wants to destroy me. He wants to kill me.
I got the date here, October 11, 1996. It's Super Brawl 2 in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Oh my God.
And then we come, 4 months later, February 1997, you make your UFC debut at the UFC 12 tournament. Now in the UFC, you fight now one time on a card. and you know who you're going to fight. You can, you know, you can game plan. You have your training camp for that fight. You know how long it's going to be. There's rounds, the whole thing. But back then at UFC 12 in a heavyweight tournament, you're going to have to fight multiple times. There's no time limit. There's no rounds. It's just a fight, and it goes until someone quits or there's a doctor stoppage or whatever. So talk about the mindset of you as now you're 19 years old. You're a senior in high school, getting ready to go fight in a UFC tournament in a heavyweight division. How much did you weigh at this time?
I was 204. That was the max weight I could have put. I could not put more weight.
So you're weighing 204, but you're fighting guys who are much bigger, much heavier, much older.
360, 275. It was insane. I fought a guy with no chest, like a specimen, like all jacked up, you know, muscle everywhere. He has muscle in his ears, so it's kind of. But you know, I always use my speed and my agility, and I really believe that if you put preparation, it's all about preparation, and I really believe in speed and agility, and I remember Carl said, Victor, listen to me. God gave you a gift. You develop that gift. To develop that gift, and we like, there is no tomorrow. You think there's no tomorrow. Just develop the gift. Your job is just to be ready for develop your gift. And the fight. So we didn't have dates. I was ready every week. People would pop up in my gym to challenge me like every week. I have to fight guys every week, giants, guys from wrestling. And I remember Carlos used to make me, Victor, and I'm gonna send you a link of my sparring. People with little gloves, they could punch me. I could not punch them back. That was the rule. So Carlos said, Victor, the only reason I went to spar, I have to go to a professional boxing gym where I used to spar with all the professional boxers, like the guy who was sparring. I remember I saw, I forgot his name, but all the professional boxing from LA, they used to go to this gym called LA Boxing Club. We're in the downtown LA. So I used to go there sparring with all these guys who used to spar with Mike Tyson, sparring partners, and all these heavyweights. That's when I can throw my punch. But with the MMA fighters that used to spar with me, I could not throw punching at them because they would never come to spar with me back in the days. So I used to spar. They could throw punching at me like full blow, and I could not. So I have to only play defense and just wrestle them. And that was the whole preparation for me to fight in UFC. So I developed a lot of skills, a lot of kind of defense, but I used to play offense in separate. So it was not in the same time. And that's that's wrong, the way to train, because you have to train, I believe, in offense. You've got to play offense all the time. When I say offense, for me, defense can never be in a different mode. You know, you cannot face life trying to protect yourself because life hits you from different places. So the way to face life, you just got to play an offense. Like I love the way you train your mental game. Is pretty easy. We prepare a day. We know what we're going to do next day. Raining, sunny, you prepare a day next day. Doesn't matter. You already know what you do this time. So you play an offense, your defense. So I used to break down. So I could not play offense when I was training. So that was not a benefit in my end, but that's the only way I can get to do things. And when I have someone to come and pop in the gym, I used to fight these guys. Carson didn't let me throw punching at them just to prove that jiu-jitsu was so effective that you can still beat the other guy without even throwing a punch. But I think today this was not going to work. But I was insane back then.